I've lost my studio space. I've been in this space for about a year. I really like it. Maybe you've seen the videos I've done from this space, or the video about moving in and all the time and effort and cost it took just 1 year ago to set this all up. My clients liked it. The location was good. Dogs were great in here. And I really thought I'd be here longer. We're parting ways here on good terms. If you haven't seen that other video, I rent part of the space at a rehab veterinary office, and they have just grown like crazy so quickly. And our agreement was a month-to-month basis. And so we knew that at some point they would outgrow both of their locations and need this space. So it's fine. And they were generous to give me 2 months notice. So I did freak out a little bit, like internally, but when I get anxiety, I say the antidote to anxiety is action. And that's what I did immediately. At first, I cried. What? I was so shocked. It seemed so out of the blue. Not that there's a good way to tell anyone this news, but I immediately thought, oh my gosh, it took forever just to get my last 2 studio spaces. What am I gonna do? It's panic-inducing. I would say it's panic-inducing. The action, I took action immediately. I put notices on my personal Facebook page saying, hey, I'm looking for a studio space that meets these parameters. Anybody know anything? Any spaces that are out there? And I also put it in the eWomen Network private members group. That is the networking group I'm part of, because I know there's a lot of other business people in there. What do you all know that's out there to rent, lease? So I immediately went to work doing that, reaching out to just about anybody I thought. I know some other people looking for commercial space. I said, hey, what's your realtor's name? Can I get a hold of them? I had one realtor who just said, we never get that small a space in that small a budget, and just kind of wrote me off. Oof, so that was disappointing. I immediately started driving around town and looking at any spaces that had a for lease sign on them. So some of the problems with those is they had really low ceilings. A lot of retail or office spaces. Office spaces often have carpet and don't allow animals at all. And then some of the retail spaces, they have such a low drop ceiling that my lights could never get high enough for the work I need to do, or the layout's weird, or the location was sketch. But I immediately jumped into action. I'm like, I'm looking on all the different websites. I'm talking to realtors. I'm talking to my friends and my business network and just everybody I know. And, that's a lot to do. There's a lot that goes into moving spaces. Not only just packing this space up, but if there's any kind of build out at all, or any rearranging that needs to be done to a new space, how is my furniture gonna fit in there? How all the back end stuff I have to tell my clients that I have a new address, all of my banks, my EIN number, everybody's gonna need to know the new address, and that takes time. Google needs to send me a postcard, and all of these things were blowing up in my mind all at once. And it's also a time where I was pretty busy. I was at 2 events and spending just hours and hours and hours on all the other stuff, my regular work stuff, and for you here. But my family rallied around, my community rallied around, and they really came through. They really immediately said, oh my gosh, we can help. It was a little bit of stressful time thinking, oh my gosh, because if you are a member of the community center, are coming to this space the first couple days of August for the workshop. And whether I had to rent a space for that, I didn't know. So I was keeping you in mind. Don't you worry. We will be still having the workshop here in the first part of August. If you're a community center member, it's just included. So sign up. One of the people that commented on my post immediately said, oh my gosh, you really need my space that I have. And I was like, girl, I messaged her. I said, that would be awesome, but it's way too big and way too expensive for me. I would love it. I've been like dreaming of that space for a year, but it's just not going to work out. Another person reached out and said, hey, I just moved my dog training to a bigger building, and one of my my spaces is still open. It's an industrial area of town. Oof, okay, there's no windows at all. It's metal. It's more like a shop for a training facility. And I thought, okay, that's going to stretch the budget. I don't know about that. And I really didn't have a lot of other places. There was a little house in town that was being rented, but all the rooms were teeny tiny. So there was no way to work in that space, and it was an older building. But I just kept having conversations and just kind of keep my hopes up. And in the meantime, really digging in and making sure that I'm taking full advantage of this space while I have it. And, book in as much clients as I can, because that expense is going to be pretty big to move. Right, so there is a silver lining to this story. What happened is that the person that I had gone to tour her space last year when she bought this big property. I'm like, man, that is a beautiful space. And her and I came up with all kinds of ideas that she could use for this giant space that she has on her property next to her dog agility field. She's a dog agility trainer. And so I was helping her try to find someone to rent that space. And so we've talked back and forth, and it's shocking that it felt like just days, I am now in talks and agreement to actually rent her space. I didn't thought it was going to make me teary. It is really a dream. It's a dream space. And she's a friend of mine and a fellow, business owner with a dog-based business. And she said when she moved into that space, she pictured me in it. And I pictured me in it, but I couldn't find a way to afford the whole place. And I mean, it's huge. This is all I have. I have 400 square foot studio. This is it. I have like a couch and a chair. What am I supposed to put in a big space? We're in talks, and she is so generous and worked me into her budget and said, you know what, we're going to make it work. And I'm just so thankful for her. She's been a friend for years. She is a client of mine. I think that's how we originally met, actually. But we've kept in touch because I just really love keeping in touch with people that are business owners, especially women. And she had branched out on her own in the last year when she bought that property. She was with another great training facility, and she said, I really just want to go all in with agility. So I'm going to make this work. But this big building didn't work for her training. So she'll eventually build another building on her property. And this building has just sat empty for the whole year. And I just go, oh, girl, this is so nice. And at Christmas time, I said, let's do a dog-themed pop-up holiday market. And she's like, okay, as long as the building's not rented. I said, okay. And so it didn't rent. And we had this amazing event. And all the vendors, we were able to scrape together in 2 weeks. In just 2 weeks, we put this holiday market together and had it full of vendors. And just so many people came, and oh, it was so great. Every single person said, we've got to do this somewhere next year. If this building is rented, we'll have it somewhere else. We just absolutely love this dog-themed market. And people could bring their dogs because the building is dog-friendly. And we're like, yeah, there's some way we'll make this market happen again. And while we were there, I just kept looking at the space going, oh, I could have this here and that there and that there and that there. And I can't even believe I'm going to move into this space now. It's been a very stressful week. Let's just tears, okay? Just deal with it. And I may not probably use the entire space in case she has someone that can rent another little part of it. There's kind of a garage, I call it the garage bay area, that's separate from this space. So maybe someone can rent that. But we're gonna talk further. We've had 2 discussions so far. We're gonna meet up once or twice very soon in the next few days at the property. And I'll be able to, in a future video, show you the whole space. But I mean, I think you're probably gonna cry when I show you this picture. That barn is my new studio. Wow, right? Wow. And it looks like a barn from the outside, but it's a commercial space on the inside. The walls are finished. It has finished concrete floors for most of it. Electricity, the internet's amazing. Heating, cooling. It's very, very nice building inside. So I'm probably going to go from this 400 square foot space, and my last space was also 400 square feet, to more like 2,000 square feet, which is just blowing my mind. And I really wanted to share this with you, partly because it felt so devastating. But when I reached out to everybody that I know, just building a network of people that you know through over the years, it means everything. There's a saying that your network is your net worth, and I've just surrounded myself with these amazing people, and that's the whole way I've been able to stay in business, is all the amazing people in my community and in my life, and you, and I'm just so thankful, and I just want to give you a message of hope too, when things seem really dark. The next day could be the brightest sunrise you've ever seen. And like the picture of the barn was at sunrise, like that's the kind of sunrise I'm talking about. I have huge plans for this space. So I cannot wait for you to come see it for the community center workshop. Oh my gosh. We'll probably even get one of Melissa's dogs to also model for us, along with Frank's dog, Sela. I found a cat that's gonna model for us. It's gonna be incredible. I will have an entire month at least to set up. That's the other great thing, is she's giving me, I don't have to officially start my agreement like rent until later, and I can have the next few weeks to come in and clean and put stuff in there if I wanted to. She's like an incredibly generous person. So you'll get a chance to meet her. I can't wait to share this whole experience with you, but I really wanted you to know, like, when you're in what you think is a dark place and you think the world's kind of falling on your head, it may not be. Reach out to people. If you're having one of those times, reach out to me. I'm very creative. I can help you from afar. We talk about these kind of things a lot in our community center, but we have our Facebook group too. I consider myself part of your support network, and it's so important. Reach out to everybody you know. Make friends. If you're a dog photographer or aspiring, make friends with all the dog businesses in your town. Know the trainers, know the boarding places, know the dog walkers, know the groomers and the boutiques and the rescues and all the just meet everybody. Go to as many things as you possibly can. Connect to them all on social. Try to make those connections, because this move is actually going to help so much of that community. I'll be able to host things there. I'll be able to open up the space to other photographers to rent while I'm there. I plan on having a podcast booth. Well, one of the rooms is going to be for people to rent for podcasting and their little at a desk talking head YouTube videos. I'll be able to do larger scale productions for other small businesses in my town, or large. It just opens up so much possibilities for me and my community, and have events there and just really be able to give back even more and be a resource for people. This is something I wouldn't have known 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I was just doing my business right here. I think that's really what I want to leave you with. When it's nighttime and it's dark, we forget, or when it's cloudy, we forget that the sun is right above the clouds. The sun is just coming in a couple of hours on the horizon. There will be people in your life that will brighten things up for you and open doors for you, and just really, really embrace your community of people, whatever kind of business you're doing, whatever kind of studio you have. So I had to share that with you. I'm really looking forward to giving you a sneak peek of the space when I get in there. I've been in there twice now, and just in the past year, just for other reasons. And I've just been sketching out so many ideas, and I have so many ideas for things to film for you, and so that'll be coming soon to this YouTube channel and socials and things. So I'm super excited to share all this with you, and huge thanks to my entire community here in Northern Colorado and beyond, and of course Melissa with Fun Pup Dog Sports for this amazing opportunity for Silver Paw Studio and Pro Pet Photog to grow. All right, I'll see you in the next one, and as always, I wish you many woofs, purrs, and TREATSs.